Hello and welcome back to another podcast and video from Fantasy Football Scout on Euro 2024. My name is Ed. You can follow me on X @_FantasyEd. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see this disgusting moustache that I'm growing on my face. I'm only going to shave it off when we get a decent performance from England. So that might be the Nations League next summer. We'll find out. What we're going to be doing today, we are going to be looking at a wildcard draft. So if you've got your wildcard left, now might be the time you want to play it. You might actually want to keep it for the semi-finals as well, because there wasn't too many shocks, was there, in the round of 16? So you might still have a good team now. You might not want to play it. But if you do, we're going to look at the wildcard draft that I would pick. Now, whether you want to take that advice or not, I don't know, because I'm not even doing too well in this game. But I have put some thought into it, and also I've taken some advice from the Fantasy Football Scout pros in the background. So let's take a look at it, see what I've come up with. Please do like and subscribe to the stream. If you're listening on audio podcast, please do make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast, and also give it a 5-star review. That would be great. Anyway, let's get going and look at a wildcard draft for the quarterfinals of Euro 2024. Yes, before we get going, I just want to point out that we've got an amazing deal on at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk at the moment to get access to our premium data, our expert data from Opta on the Euros. For the rest of the Euros, it includes friendly data, qualifying data, data from the tournament, but also for the FPL season ahead. This deal has been extended. It was going to end on the 1st of July, but we've extended it until England go out of the tournament. So we're back in England to stay in a bit longer, and we are extending this deal as well. For £39, you can get a year's access to all of this data, the team reveals, the team Opta data, the qualifiers, the friendlies for Euros, also expert team reveals and strategy, exclusive data analysis articles, updated team lineups and set piece takers, sortable fixture difficulty tickers, all sorts going on. It's 40% off. It covers the rest of the Euros, but it also covers your FPL season in 24-25. Don't just listen to the experts. Be an expert yourself. There's customizable data tables. You can sort things by things like XG. Really, really good opportunity to take your fantasy football game to the next level. So do check that out. Now, I'll get rid of that. Let's have a look. The first thing we're going to do is actually, before I bring anything on screen, is just note and comment that obviously this is going to be a wildcard draft. I don't actually have my wildcard left, but it's fun to do it, and I know some of you will have. So I'm going to show you the wildcard team I'd pick. But there are some people I know in the community, like FPL Mode, actually. If you know him, he's been on a previous podcast with us. He does a scout cast. He's actually going to come on a video with us tomorrow to show his team. He's still got his wildcard left, and he's not actually using it in the quarterfinals. He's saving it for the semis because he just doesn't need to. Because the big belief, wasn't it, or the big sort of reason, or one of the big reasons rather, to keep the wildcard for this stage was in case quite a lot of shocks happened in the round of 16, and you needed to clear up these kind of, England, France, and Germany had been knocked out, and therefore you needed the wild card to replace all the players that had gone out because we only had 3 free transfers. But none of those shocks happened, did they? England, I know they scraped through, but they went through. Spain went through. Germany went through. Portugal went through. France went through. Even, I suppose, the only one that could be considered maybe a shock was Turkey beating Austria. But then again, not many people had loads of Austria. I had one, Posh, and he got an assist, actually. So that was good. I didn't have any Turkey. But, now they've got Holland, so do we back Holland? That sort of thing. So, Andy Modes looked at it, and we'll see more of this tomorrow when we have him on. But he's looked at it and gone, do you know what? With my 3 free transfers, I can still get a very good team for the quarters, so I'll save it for the semis. So he's in quite a good position. He's flying as well. I think he's like 5,000th in the world. So he's doing really well. But anyway, so you might not even want to use your wild card, but stay around because I'm going to show you the team I'd pick. And you can then decide, is that worth changing to? Is it worth using the wild card now? Obviously, there's not too many options left to use the wild card. It's either really got to be now or for the semis. You're not really going to use it for the final. Because remember, we have 3 transfers between the round of 16 and the quarterfinal. And they're the 3 we're going to be using at the moment. You then get 4 between the quarterfinal and the semis. And then you get 5 between the semi-finals and the final. So that number of transfers does go up to kind of fix the problems you've got and the players who get knocked out and things like that. So first thing, I guess, just to say is you might not want to use it now, but if you do, let's have a look at it. First of all, though, let's look at the fixtures. So these are the 4 games. I know you'll know this already, but let's just talk about each one. Look at that Friday. Look at that Friday. Spain, Germany at 5, and then Portugal, France at 8. That is premium quality matches, isn't it? Although we've said that about a bunch of matches this tournament, and it's been rubbish. We said that about France, Belgium. We said, oh, this is going to be a tasty fixture. It's in the round of 16. Look at that, France versus Belgium at this stage. Wow, it's going to be great. Dull as dishwater. I think I said this on the video the other day. It was boring. So hopefully these don't disappoint. If I was to guess, I'd say the Spain-Germany game is going to be good because those have been two of the best teams in the tournament, haven't they? Germany, obviously, at home. They're the hosts. Spain, who, I think went in, I don't think they were sort of one of the top 5 favourites. I don't think so. Now they would definitely be because they're high tempo. They look brilliant. Like some of the players that we're seeing, Nico Williams and Fabian Ruiz, and obviously Rodri scored again the other day. We already knew everything about him. Morata hasn't really done much, but those midfield wingers have just been absolutely brilliant. Yamal, 16 years old, or is he 17 now? Whatever he is, unbelievable. I tweeted the other day. I put a tweet out, which has been my most successful tweet ever, where I just put FYI, Pepe for Portugal is 7 years older than Lamine Yamal's dad. He's got 65,000 likes, that tweet. Sometimes the simplest ones really do bang. But anyway, that's amazing, isn't it? The difference in age. But anyway, Spain versus Germany. I have a feeling that's going to be quite a high quality match. I have a feeling, I don't know who's going to go through. I think Spain are just edging it actually in the booking in the bookie markets, in the betting odds. I think they are. But Germany at home, Germany are pretty solid. Who knows what's going to happen in that game? That's going to be a really good one. I'm going to make sure I watch that one. Portugal versus France. I think this is going to be boring. To be honest, I'm still going to watch it, of course, but my prediction would be this is going to be a dull game. Portugal only just scraped through against Slovenia with Cristiano Ronaldo taking every single penalty and free kick, and I think he's had most shots in the tournament by quite some way now. Still hasn't scored, crying. It's all about him, wasn't it? But they scraped through, and then France are the first team ever to reach the quarterfinal without scoring a goal from open play. Because the only 2 goals they've had, I think this is right, is an own goal and a penalty. So France have looked very poor, but they haven't conceded many goals. Portugal again kept a clean sheet in the last round. So is this going to be a 0-0 and go to extra time sort of thing? Potentially. But those 2 games, either of those 4 teams you could see going through, couldn't you? You could see, given France have been pretty woeful. I know Portugal haven't been great, but you could see Portugal turning it on and beating France. You could see France beating Portugal. In that other game, you could see Spain beating Germany, and you could see Germany beating Spain. So that side of the draw, in terms of the picks we're going to make for our wildcard team, we've got to hedge our bets a bit. Because either team could go through. We've got to be in a position where if Spain go out, we're not stuffed. Because remember, we're only going to have 4 free transfers. Or if Germany go out, we're not stuffed. Or if Portugal go out, we're not stuffed. Or if France go out, we're not stuffed. So that's what we've got to consider at that side of the draw. The other side of the draw, maybe, is slightly clearer. It's still not that clear. And maybe we're just going to get this all wrong. But England-Switzerland at 5 o'clock on Saturday. Switzerland look great, and there's a lot of noise around, saying, Switzerland just going to beat England, and this is definitely going to be England's hardest game we've had. I think Switzerland are the most competent team we're going to have come across so far, and England have been stumbling around, haven't we? We haven't been great. We haven't clicked into gear yet. We know we can, so will that happen? I don't know. But I think it is slightly exaggerated. I heard some people say Switzerland are going to win 2-3-0. But, Switzerland have been good, but they haven't been incredible. They beat Italy 2-0, but Italy have been awful this tournament. They were woeful against Switzerland. And yes, Switzerland dominated and looked good, but I think, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if England did that against Italy, because Italy were not good this tournament. You can even Gianni Buttici, an Italian fan who's been on one of these videos earlier on in the tournament, even I think he'd admit Italy. He even admitted going in, Italy didn't look great, and then obviously Italy fell away very, very quickly. So you look, Switzerland, they drew against Germany. That was quite a good performance. Did they draw against Scotland as well? Did they draw against Scotland? I think they did, didn't they? So look, I still think England are going to win this. My prediction is we're going to win 3-1. I think we will concede because I think Switzerland will score. I know our defence is pretty solid, but we're changing our system. The thing that gives me hope is England are changing their system. All the rumours coming out from reputable sort of outlets and journalists, the same sort of journalists that were telling us Trent was going to start in that first game, and then he did. Those people are saying England are switching systems. We're going to a back 3 with wing-backs, probably Saka left wing-back, probably Trent Alexander-Arnold right wing-back, then Kyle Walker right centre-back, John Stones, and then because Guehi's injured, probably Konsa left centre-back. And then 2 in midfield, and then 3 up top. I think it's the system that we played in, was it Euro 2020 or Euro 2018? Hang on. World Cup 2018 or Euro 2020. Can't quite remember which one we played it, but we've played it before where Kyle Walker's that right-sided centre-back. And that gives me hope, because we definitely needed to change something. It just hasn't clicked into gear. doing this, making this change, will it mean we click into gear? Well, I really hope so, because I really want to get rid of this moustache, because I'm starting to look very odd. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can confirm that. But yeah, look, so England, Switzerland, who do we back there? Do we just go full on England and say Switzerland aren't going to do it? If you do, then you're leaving yourself exposed that if we do lose against Switzerland, you're then a bit stuffed, because again, we're only going to get 4 free transfers. The second game, 8 o'clock, Netherlands-Turkey. Netherlands will be favourites. Netherlands won 3-0 against Romania. But are we underestimating Turkey? I mean, everyone said Austria were going to batter Turkey. And Turkey beat them, and Turkey have got some great talents. Çalhanoğlu, or however you pronounce it, is going to be back for them, so that's a huge boost. They've got Arda Güler, who's just so good for a 19-year-old. At Real Madrid last season, he was injured for quite a bit of the season, but in 10 games he played for them, as an 18-year-old, he scored 6 goals. I mean, that's not bad, is it? So what a talent they've got there. But also, they're just a decent side. They're a decent team. You've got to be decent to have got to this stage, basically, or you've got to have a bit of talent. I know you might say England haven't been decent. Well, we have been decent. We just haven't done what we know we can. Same with France. They have been decent. Like Portugal, all of these teams. You've got to be decent to get to here. It's just from now on, you need to be good to get any further. And that's why it suddenly goes, okay, Portugal, you've suddenly got to be good to get through here. France, you've got to be good. England, you've got to be good now, not just decent. So that's the difference, isn't it? But these are the 4 fixtures. And the question when we look at them is obviously, a couple of things come to mind with our wildcard draft. First of all, there's obviously only 2 opportunities to captain in this round. We've got used to, haven't we, having 4 or 5 chances at getting the captaincy. And by the way, I couldn't even get a captaincy with 4 or 5 tries. It's been my major stumbling block. I know it's been the same for a lot of people in this game this year. I just haven't been able to get a captaincy. But this one, we only have 2, so maybe it will sharpen my mind and hopefully I'll get one. But yeah, so there's only two chances to get a captaincy. So you've got to pick from Spain, Germany, Portugal, France on that first day, who you're going to captain, and then England, Switzerland, Netherlands, Turkey. The other thing to notice, to just comment on before we look at the draft, is Spain, Germany is obviously the teams we're going to see before the deadline. That's not going to help us too much because we kind of know the teams. But I guess for Germany, we'll know, is Wirtz back in, or has Sane kept his place after Wirtz was dropped? We'll know, is Mittelstadt back in? We'll know, is Füllkrug playing up top, or is it still Havertz? I imagine it'll still be Havertz. Is Raum playing instead of Mittelstadt? All those sorts of things. With the Spanish team, I don't think there's any... I think we know what that team's going to be anyway. I don't think they're going to make many changes. So yeah, it's not going to be too helpful. But it's worth not making your changes until you see the team, just in case there's some secret injury to, I don't know, Gundogan or something. They just haven't told us, and suddenly the team comes out and he's not in it. So you're going to want to hold off those transfers just until we see those teams. So, and then on the Saturday, the thing to note is that we will see the England-Switzerland team, obviously, and we'll still be able to make substitutions. No transfers at that point, but we should probably leave our bench players on the bench if they play for England or Switzerland until we see they start, and then we can bring them on. So a good tactic is to put your England players, if you've got more than a bench worth of players playing on the second day, then put the England players on the bench, not the Netherlands ones, because you're going to see if the England players are starting, and then you can then bring them on. That is one sort of tactic. I suppose there is another shout that you want to put the players least likely to score points on the bench, because we kind of know the England team. There's a few ways you can go. I'm sure you get it. But anyway, these are the fixtures. Now let's look at the team. So just bear with. Let me just click my team. Let's bring it down here. You can see part of it there. Let's just change screens here. So here we are. So this is the wildcard team I've put together, and this is taking into account everything I've just said. It's taking into account who I kind of backing to progress, but it's also hedging the bets a little bit. It gives me a decent amount of sort of players playing on each day, so you can kind of be optimal in terms of taking off players who don't get points and keeping on the players who do, and that sort of thing. But if you just look at it here, so I will read it. In fact, I'll read out the team for you, for those, first of all, watching on video, so you can read along with me, but also those listening on audio podcasts. So in goal, starting on the pitch, this is Maignan, so the French keeper. They've had, France have not conceded many goals at all. And Maignan plays on the first day. Of course, your keepers, you're going to want one playing on the first day and one playing on the second. Don't make the mistake that you pick 2 keepers playing on the same day. So there's not too many options, really. You've got to, pick a keeper playing on the first day, which is Maignan. And my second keeper, I'll just tell you now, is Pickford for that second day with England. So if Maignan doesn't get any points, Pickford comes in. Back 4, John Stones, Cancelo, Hernandez, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold, you might be thinking, hang on, he doesn't start for England, does he? Well, with this change of system that's being heavily rumoured, it's not just rumours like people saying, "Oh, we should do this." It's actual journalists saying Gareth Southgate's decided to go with a back three or back five, however, whatever you want to call it, with wing backs. That would mean, you would think, I mean, it would be crazy if not, that Trent is going to play in that wing back role on the right, with particularly because of our problems at centre back. Guehi's injured, so he's suspended. Maguire's not there, so it is going to be Kyle Walker at right centre back, which we know Gareth Southgate likes. He's done that multiple times in international games, and he did it again in the tournament we played this system last, which I think it was either 2018 or 2020. You tell me in the comments, I can't remember, but we did it, and it worked reasonably well. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, a bit of a punt, yes, and in fact he may end up moving to the bench in terms of I may start him on the bench instead of one of my Dutch players. I'll come on to that in a second, so that I can see the team and then make a decision. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, right wing back. Cancelo, I've got there, obviously. Why? Because he looked so good in Portugal's last game against Slovenia. I know they didn't score, but he nutmegged about 8 players. He was absolutely dominating that right side. And someone said to me, yeah, but it was Slovenia. Yeah, I know, but all these other players are playing Slovenia and they're not dominating. Like Bruno Fernandes didn't particularly dominate. Ronaldo definitely didn't. So Cancelo, I thought, and I also kind of think that Portugal-France could be 0-0 in normal time and go to extra time. And if so, Cancelo will get clean sheet points and all things like that could end up on penalties. So Cancelo is there just because I think I could just see him scoring a goal in this quarterfinal. John Stones and Trent make a double up in defence for England. It's actually a triple up with Pickford as well, so hopefully... it's hard. When you get to this stage of the tournament, you've got to back something, haven't you? And even though I think Switzerland probably will score, I've just got to go with something, so there you go. In midfield, I've gone 2 Germany and 2 Spain, and they're my only 2 Germany and 2 Spain. So Musiala and Gundogan, and then Nico Williams and Fabian Ruiz. The Spanish fellas, Williams and Ruiz, I had them both in my team last week, and they both got 10 points, so 20 points together. Really good. Everything's going through them. Ruiz had loads of chances. He was on the end of loads of stuff. He was shooting from all over the place, Ruiz, so I'm going to keep him. And Nico Williams looked electric on that left side, so I'm definitely going to keep him. Gundogan and Musiala, again, we know what they can do. Musiala's joint top scorer in the Euros with 3 goals, which isn't very high at this stage, but still joint top scorer. And Gundogan, although he doesn't seem to be on penalties, which we all thought he was, it looks like Havertz is, he has picked up 25, 26 points, I think, with a couple of assists and a goal and all this sort of stuff. So Gundogan looks good as well. And that just means that whoever goes through out of those 2, Spain or Germany, I'm going to have 2 going through. And that kind of banks 2 transfers I'm going to have to make from that game. But I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable. We're going to get 4. And remember, by the time we get to the semi-final, you don't necessarily need 15 players. You need to make sure you have 11 who are going to play, but you don't necessarily need 15. I'd be happy going into the semi-finals, having used my 4 transfers, with 11 on the pitch, obviously, and then maybe 2 subs. I think that would be fine. That would be absolutely fine. You could go down to having 1 keeper, for example, if one gets knocked out. So we don't have to start be thinking about 15 players from now on. Obviously, it'd be great if you can get it, but it's not essential at this stage. It's the same in UCL Fantasy if you've ever played that. If you get to the final, all you need, particularly for the final, by the way, remember, for the final, all you need is 11, because you can't even use a bench because there's no opportunity to ever bring them on. So by the time you get to the final, you're only going to need 11 starting players. The bench won't make any difference to anything because they will never get on. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're making these risks. You can be slightly riskier than some people are suggesting, I think. You don't have to, as I said, end up with 15. Anyway, so that's my midfield on the pitch. Ruiz, Gundogan, Ruiz and Williams, the Spanish guys, Gundogan and Musiala. Currently, the captaincy chip for me is on Musiala. I've had him the whole way through the tournament in my team. He's top joint scorer with 3 goals. He's electric. He is attacking. He is so good with his feet. If Germany are going to do anything, I think it's going to be him. They are the hosts. I think Spain are slightly ahead in the odds to win this game. I think they are. But I'm gonna back Musiala. I think that's currently where I'm at. Where I'm at. This isn't even my draft, but I've got Musiala in my team as well, and Musiala is going to be my captain. But if I was playing a wild card, I think I'd go for Musiala. And then up top, starting Harry Kane and Kylian Mbappe with his mask. Now, Kylian Mbappe is a funny one because I haven't had in my team Kylian Mbappe, and I still don't. I didn't have him last round. I went without him. I didn't have any players from France against Belgium because I just didn't know how to call it. I thought both teams had been pretty poor, and it turned out to be a good move because it was only 1-0 and because Kylian Mbappe didn't do anything. Now, Kylian Mbappe has said, and this was one of the reasons I didn't pick him, he's come out in the press and said wearing this mask that he has to wear because he's broken his nose, it feels like he's watching he finds it really uncomfortable. He says he feels like he's watching like a game on TV when he's playing. He's like he can't. It's not the same for him. And I think it is really affecting him. I know that sounds a bit strange, but given those comments and given the way he's playing since he's had it on, I just think it's affecting him. Does that mean Kylian Mbappe isn't going to score? Of course it doesn't. Even if he can't be at 100% because of a mask, he's still better than most players in this tournament, isn't he? So Kylian Mbappe, with a wild card, I would put him in my team. I don't think I'm going to end up having him, but with a wild card, I would, because it's Mbappe. And France will be the favourites against Portugal, I imagine, even if it's just. But both teams have been poor. So currently in this wildcard team, I've got 3 France: Mbappe, Hernandez, and Maignan, and then I've got Cancelo just in case if Portugal go through. I've still got him. But if it's a 0-0, which is my prediction, I reckon it might be 0-0. Then I've got a clean sheet from Hernandez, a clean sheet from Cancelo, and a clean sheet from Maignan. And then Mbappe obviously has done nothing for me again. But hey ho. So that's the players starting on the pitch. On the bench, apart from Pickford, who I've already talked about, I do have these 3 Netherlands assets. So Ake, Simmons, and Gakpo. They're probably the 3 most popular. If you were going to pick a defender, a midfielder, and a striker, probably the most popular 3. Gakpo has been brilliant for them, hasn't he? Absolutely brilliant. I had Depay in my team for the last round, which was so frustrating. Adam captain, he got me 2 points, doubled to 4. And then I watched, and I was flicking between when I was making that decision, Gakpo or Depay. And obviously Gakpo had done better so far, but I thought, Depay's on all corners, he's on all free kicks, he's probably on pens. He scored in matchday 3. Surely this is his time rather than Gakpo's. Nope, it was Gakpo's again, so that was annoying. Simmons is definitely the most popular midfielder for Holland, and then Ake probably maybe joint with Virgil van Dijk, actually. Maybe Virgil van Dijk is more popular, actually. But Ake's got 2 assists in 1 game in this tournament, hasn't he? And he's been playing really well. So those 3. Now, the issue with that, of course, having 3 Dutch players, is if Turkey do go through, Holland will be pretty clear favourites here, but so will Austria against Turkey. But I imagine Netherlands, sorry, I should call them Netherlands, apparently. Netherlands are... surely they're going to go through against Turkey. I don't know. But look, I've got 3 Netherlands players, Dutch players, let's just say that, Dutch players, and I've got them to bring on the 6th. So, look, what I'll probably do, actually, to be honest, is if I make subs here, let's just do this now. I'm going to take Trent out, and I'll put someone who's definitely going to start for Holland. I've done it again, Holland. I'm just going to call him Holland. Holland, I'm going to put in, I'll put Gakpo in. So if I click confirm there. Right, so now Trent's on the bench. Reason being, Trent is obviously the punt. I'm believing the strong rumours that they're changing system. If they are changing system, I'm then believing that Trent's going to play that right wing back role. But on that second day, I'll see the starting lineup. So if Trent isn't starting, I could leave him on the bench if I want. But if he is, I'll bring him on. So I think that's a better way to go. And starting Gakpo is not a problem. Unless he gets injured last minute, he is going to start. He's been their best player. So that's fine. So yeah, this is the wildcard draft I'd go for. Let's play a few scenarios in our heads. If England go out, then how many players do I lose? I lose 4. I lose Pickford, I lose Trent, I lose Stones, and I lose Kane. That would be all 4 of my transfers that I'd need to use, just replacing them, right? So if England went out, there you go. And could that happen? Of course it could. Now, the thing is, again, I would just comment, if it did happen, right, great, I've got 4 transfers to cover them, and then I've still could lose 4 more, and I'd still have 11. Hang on, is that right? No, that's not right. If I lose... Oh, yeah. So if I lose 4 and I replace them all, then I've still got 15. I could still lose 4 more and I'd still have an 11 for the semi-final. Okay? So it might be not the ideal 11, but I'll still have an 11 and a chance. So you've got to lose 8 players, essentially, to be in trouble here. You can always take a hit, of course, but you don't want to do that. So you can lose 8 players. So let's see. What are the routes to me losing 8 players with this wildcard team? Well, if England went out and Holland went out, so basically the favourites on that side of the draw both going out, England and Holland. I mean, the chances of that are pretty slim, both of them going out. But if they did, that would mean I'd lost 7 players. Okay, so that would still be, it wouldn't be ideal, but I'd still be in the competition, right? Next, if both of those happened and France went out to Portugal, then, well, in fact, actually, if both of those happen, fine, okay. But then also I've got definitely 2 going out because I've got 2 Spain and 2 Germany. So that would take it to 9. So then I am in trouble. So if Netherlands go out, England go out, and Germany or Spain are going to go out, that takes me to 9 going out. So I'm backing England. But you know, it doesn't matter what wild card. You'll soon realise when you do this. It doesn't matter what wild card a team I pick. I mean, I could be super safe and super hedging my bets all over the place and just do the maths. You've got to back something, right? I'm backing England. I'm backing Netherlands. Crikey, I'm really struggling when calling them the Netherlands. Holland and Netherlands have combined to Heatherlands in my head, which is actually one of my neighbours, Heather Lands. She lives just down the road. Look, Netherlands. So, look, I'm backing the Netherlands. I'm backing England. I'm happy to hedge my bets with the Germany-Spain game. I think most people are going to have to, because you can't just back Spain. You can't just back Germany. I'm gonna hedge my bets. I've slightly hedged my bets on the France-Portugal game in that I have 1 Portugal and 3 France. And then, other than that, that's it. So I haven't got any Turkey. So if Turkey go through, crikey. If Switzerland go through, crikey. But other than that, I should be okay. So if those two on that side of the draw, if England and the Netherlands go through, then I'm pretty safe with this wildcard draft. Now I'm slightly looking at this, panicking, thinking, oh, I'm going to lose these players. This isn't even my team. I keep having to remind myself. This is just a wildcard draft. But it shows some of the issues you're going to have to deal with if you are building one. You've got to do the maths or the calculator to think, right, if this happens. Obviously, for everyone, there's going to be a worst case scenario in terms of, if I lose these. But again, you've got to go for it. An alternative to this is that I do actually hedge my bets, like with Germany-Spain. I've got 2 Germany, 2 Spain. There is a small chance that if I was playing a wild card, I would hedge my bets on Germany-Portugal as well, have 2 from each, which would probably be, might even be Mbappe out for... Well, no, because I'd rather have Mbappe than Ronaldo, I think. So maybe it would be Theo Hernandez out for a Portuguese defender like Mendes. Or maybe it would be Manyang out, actually, for Diogo Costa. Which actually wouldn't be a bad move, because Diogo Costa, the penalty save specialist, as we saw in the last round, I had him as my keeper in the last round, 9 points. It's 3 penalties in a row. He is a penalty saving specialist. That's not a freak thing he's done. He's done it in the Champions League before as well. He's amazing at saving penalties. And if I think the game's going to be 0-0, then might it go to penalties? Yes. Might he get man of the match again? Yes. So maybe that's the move, actually. Manyang to Costa. Because even if Portugal went out to France in the next round, you would hope England have gone through against Switzerland, so you'd still have a keeper. You'd have Pickford. If they both went out, you'd obviously have to get a keeper. But right, so look, leave a comment. Tell me what you're thinking about this draft. Tell me your wildcard draft. Tell me whether you're playing it or saving it for the semi-finals. Please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe as well. Subscribe not only if you're playing Euro 2024 Fantasy, but if you play FPL, then make sure you subscribe. We are the home of fantasy football. We've been around for over how long now? Since Fantasy Football Scout started in 2007, I think. So we're the biggest fantasy football site in the world. Please do subscribe. Loads of content coming for the rest of the Euros, and then as we head into the new Premier League season, FPL season as well. So keep an eye out for all of that. Thank you very much, everyone. I will be back with another video. Hopefully, if we can get it recorded, we're trying to slot it in tonight. We'll see Andy Mode's team. We'll talk to him about how his Euro 2024 is going, which is going very well. I think he's about 5k in the world, and I think he's still got his wild card, and his team looks great. I've already seen it. So we'll talk to him, and we'll see how he's doing as we tinker tomorrow towards the deadline. Remember, is at 5 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. See you in the next video.